Hello everybody! Welcome to another episode, and today we're going to be talking about the NAHZ X Satan shoes! Oh, this is a great story. I loved learning about it, loved learning about the company behind this, and all the controversy. If you like controversy, this story is amazing. Let's get into it. The replies that I'm going to read later are in response to a post originally by Agreeable Wrangler 693. But before we get to that, let's get some context. First, from Wikipedia, we're going to learn, who is this NAHZ X guy? Montero Lamar Hill, born on April 9th, 1999, known by his stage name Lil Nas X, is an American rapper, singer, songwriter, and internet personality. He rose to prominence with the release of his country rap single, Old Town Road. Now, MSCHF, they're a company to look into and research. Like, seriously, if you have time, go to Wikipedia and look at the MSCHF product profile. It's fucking hilarious! MSCHF has produced a wide range of artworks, ranging from browser plugins to sneakers, physical products, and social media channels. The group announces the availability of their work in numbered drops. MSCHF is based in Brooklyn, New York. In May 2018, MSCHF released its first work, titled The Persistence of Chaos. The work was a single 2008 laptop loaded with 6 malware programs. The programs included were those that had purportedly caused $100 billion in damages to the global economy. In September 2020, MSCHF released a series of paintings that were enlargements of medical bills received by American citizens. The paintings were sold at $78,000, and the proceeds used to pay down the bills the work itself was built upon. Notice it says pay down the bills, not pay off the bills, because apparently $78,000 wasn't enough to pay these particular medical bills. No surprise. Oh, hey, by the way, guess what? I'm in Latin America. I'm in shithole Nicaragua, as you U.S. people might refer to it. I bet you don't even know where Nicaragua is. If you do, congratulations. You're one of a few who actually knows the geographical location of the country I'm speaking to you from. And guess what? I'm just some foreigner who's here, and in some cases I'm even overstaying my visa. But guess what I can still do? I can take my ass to a hospital and get treated for free. Huh. Alarming, isn't it? Like, that seems wrong to a US person. Free treatment? What? In this country that's supposed to be shit and horrible, you can go get... Yeah, believe it or not, as a US citizen, you actually have better healthcare access in foreign countries that treat foreigners. It's very similar quality levels and totally free. Isn't that some shit? Moving on. To the news. Vox adds, it all started with the March 26th release of his latest music video, Montero, Call Me By Your Name, in which he cohorts erotically with various iterations of Satan. He's stoned by a crowd throwing butt plugs. He transforms into a spear that's been homoerotically aimed at him, a la Saint Sebastian, and he transforms that spear into a stripper pole, and then slides all the way down that pole into hell before giving Satan a lap dance as an excuse to seduce him, murder him, and steal the crown of hell for himself in a win for bottoms everywhere. Oh, and he does all of this while singing with a mix of joy and wryness about gay sex, the frustration of living a closeted life, the pain of loving somebody who is still in the closet themselves, as NAHZ X is openly gay, and the jealousy he feels towards straight people who get to live their lives without facing bigotry and oppression due to their sexuality. You live in the dark, boy. I cannot pretend, he sings. I am not phased, only here to sin. The song's subtitle, Call Me By Your Name, also doubles as a refrain, in which he sings, Call me by your name, tell me you love me in private, another reference to the closet, as well as a reference to the acclaimed 2017 film about an illicit gay affair. So you can see how the music video may be a little bit shocking, especially from the portion of the public who loves a good moral panic and believes that queerness is a sin. Newsweek adds, rapper and singer Lil Nas X's Satan Shoes feature a bronze pentagram and an inverted cross containing a drop of actual human blood. They also come with a $1,018 price tag, but that didn't stop fans from quickly buying up the exclusive kicks, which sold out immediately after going on sale on Monday. In fact, the entire inventory of the shoes sold out in less than 1 minute, according to the company that made them. Newsweek adds, despite the presence of the infamous swoosh on the side, the shoes are not a direct design of Nike. Instead, it was a New York-based art collective, MSCHF, who made Satan shoes using Nike Air Max 97s. In a statement, Nike wrote, Nike did not design or release these shoes, and we do not endorse them. Breitbart adds, in selling the sneakers, the rapper has partnered with MSCHF, a company that runs on structured chaos, and has been creating some of the most absurd, cynical, and viral projects and products that have spread across the internet. Yeah, totally true. According to a report last year by Business Insider. Breitbart adds, on the day the music video was released, Nas X tweeted a message to 14-year-old Montero, informing his past self that he has written a song with our name on it. Dear 14-year-old Montero, I wrote a song with our name on it. It's about a guy I met last summer. I know we promised to never come out publicly. I know we promised to never be that type of gay person. I know we promised to die with the secret, the rapper wrote. But this will open doors for many other queer people to simply exist, Lil Nas continued. You see this? This is very scary for me. People will be angry. They will say that I am pushing an agenda. But the truth is, I am. The agenda I'm pushing is to make people stay the fuck out of other people's lives and stop dictating who they should be. Sending you love from the future. Oh, what a good guy. Jesus Christ. I love it. I love controversy. I love it when people do good, genuine things and bigots make fun of them and talk shit. I love it. New York Post adds, Nike is having a devil of a time with the Lil Nas X blood-infused sneakers. The sportswear giant wants every pair of the viral rapper's Satan shoes destroyed because they allegedly duped consumers into thinking that Nike supports devil worship. Nike's falling for it. These shoes are gonna become the most coveted shoes ever. Oh my god. New York Post adds, Nike blames Brooklyn-based MSCHF for the conservative backlash against the iconic footwear brand that followed the launch of the shoes, which are decked out with pentagram pendants, inverted crosses, and soles which supposedly contain a single drop of human blood. In the short time since the announcement of Satan shoes, Nike has suffered significant harm to its goodwill, including among consumers who believe that Nike is endorsing Satanism. Nike said in its complaint filed Monday in Brooklyn Federal, come on, Nike's big as fuck. There is no way that people overall are gonna stop buying Nike shoes because of this. You're gonna find a couple people who bitch and moan, but guess what, guys? We live in a consumerist society who regularly chooses to continue using brands and manufacturers that endorse and use slavery and child labor in other countries with worse conditions. Guess what, guys? Consumers don't give a fuck, and Nike isn't gonna lose money because of this. It's all bullshit. Total bullshit. The Oregon-based company, Nike, included screenshots of online commenters from shoppers saying they would never buy Nike products again because of the devil drop, which one person called pure evil. People are so fucking dumb. While the Satan shoes are made from actual Nike sneakers, the company argues that MSCHF doctored them in such a way that they constitute new unauthorized products. I mean, yeah, they tracked down a human, got a drop of human blood, and put it in the sneaker. I mean, that's a lot of effort, you know? You know how much you have to fuck with blood to make it legally sellable? That alone must be enough effort to make it their own product. I mean, come on. The shoes themselves are legally sellable. It's just Nike has a problem with them. The complaint seeks a court order forcing MSCHF to hand over the shoes, which sold out in less than a minute for $1,018 a pair, to Nike for destruction, and barring the irrelevant firm from selling or shipping any of them. Nike also wants MSCHF to pay financial damages for harming its brand. This is so perfect. Like, if you know anything about MSCHF's history, this is exactly what they wanted. They are playing Nike. Like, they are playing them so hard. And it's going to seem like Nike's winning in the beginning, right? But the reality is, if you get a big-ass company to say anything about you, you get free publicity, and a bunch of people are going to idolize and talk about you simply because you were mentioned by Nike. Like, I personally don't want to get sued, but I know that if I'm being sued by Nike, I'm probably in a pretty good financial position. Moving on. MSCHF did not immediately respond to a request for comment on Tuesday, but several online observers noted that Nike did not react so strongly after they released their Jesus shoes filled with holy water in 2019. Now, did Nike also sue over the Jesus shoes, or is this a targeted lawsuit against a religious minority? One commenter wrote on Twitter. And believe it or not, Satanism actually isn't as absurd as... Like, okay, I understand that if you're a Catholic, you just... Any other religion to you is bigotry and evil. Like, okay, whatever, I can't talk to you. Yeah, there's tons of religions. Yours isn't the best. It's just the one you pick. Okay, cool, that's your decision. Satanism is a respectable religion if you compare it to other religions. Like, if you look at the Bible, especially if you look into Leviticus, it literally is a guide on how to own a slave. It says, hey, it's okay to beat your slave unless they die within 1 or 2 days for the injury. Then it's not okay. But you can beat your slave, and if they die 3 days later from your beating, that's okay. That's acceptable because they're your slave. They're your property. Straight out of the Bible, motherfuckers. So, I mean, you know, are you really gonna talk shit about Satanism that much when your own Bible says things that are just as bad as the things that you're saying? I mean, it's kind of hypocritical, isn't it? Satanism doesn't include step-by-step directions on how to own a slave and kill them without getting in trouble. Yeah, as far as the Bible is concerned, you can enslave somebody who's a non-Jesuit from a neighboring country. You can force them into your servitude, and you can kill them as long as you beat them up and it takes at least 3 days for them to die from the injury. So wait, here's the line here. It's a fine line, because if you kill your slave and they die today, well, God's gonna send you to hell. But if you beat the fuck out of your slave and they die in 2 days, that 49th hour mark, oh, don't worry, you're all good in God's book. You're fine. Don't worry about it. We're good. You're going to heaven. You got them pearly gates. It's all good. The Guardian adds, now a judge has blocked manufacturer MSCHF from shipping out the 666 pairs of the shoes, which retailed at $1,018 each to customers. All pairs sold out within a minute of going on sale, with Miley Cyrus even being spotted wearing a pre-sale pair. U.S. District Judge Eric Committee has granted Nike a temporary restraining order preventing the shoes from being shipped to customers, according to The Hollywood Reporter. How do you prevent something from being shipped to a customer who already paid for it? I mean, like, that's kind of fucked. Nike's lawyers say they have submitted evidence that even sophisticated sneakerheads were confused by the shoes, thinking they were made by Nike, and that we have submitted numerous pieces of evidence that some consumers are saying they will never buy Nike shoes ever again. Meanwhile, MSCHF says that the confusion is unlikely because of the sophistication of the Nike customer. Yeah, it's also, like, an obvious publicity stunt, and MSCHF is very much winning. Like, if you look at their history, they play the public, and they just go hit the ground running into these publicity stunts. It's literally what they do. So Nike suing them was literally probably one of their goals. They probably sat down with a bunch of their stockholders and figured out, hey, how can we do something so ridiculous that Nike tries to sue us and we legally can defend ourselves because we know our laws and we know our rights. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all if this ends up settling for a smaller amount of money, or MSCHF proves that they created an original product. Because that's the thing that's kind of weird. There's some things in the US, like those first sale doctrine and some other laws. Like, it's true there's copyright infringement and there's trademark law. That's absolutely true. It is a liability that these shoes still have the Nike logo on them. However, is that to the point where it's illegal for them to be sold? That is a hard argument to make, especially if MSCHF can prove that they put a lot of time and effort into these shoes, which they did, and most likely already had all well documented to prove for when they get sued. Because again, them getting sued just plays into their hands. If Nike really wanted to surprise them, Nike could have just done nothing about it and stayed quiet. But, you know, that's not going to happen. The Guardian adds, citing the Rogers test deriving from a copyright case, Rogers versus Grimaldi, MSCHF contend that the shoes are individually numbered works of art that were sold to collectors for $1,018 each and, like their previously released Jesus shoes, will be exhibited in museums and collections. And that is true. Like, it's not like this is just some random campaign where MSCHF was trying to trick people into thinking it was Nike. They just knew that some people were going to think that, and they didn't give a fuck, and they did it anyway. But they did produce something that will be put in a museum. That's the reality, right? All right, moving forward, let's see what people have to say about this. Rainbrew04 adds, I see no problem. As long as he's not like, Satan is our true lord or something, I see no problems. Could just be artistic choice. Lotus Prince adds, the year is 2021. Dipshits can shut their ignorant mouths about how a pair of shoes is connected to the devil. Imai Sore Roar adds, who cares what the Christians are whining about? The song slaps, the video is funny, and it's shoes. If this bothers you, whoever you are, grow up. Fooly Cooly Baboy adds, I love that he's having so many free thinkers clutch their pearls. Fuck political correctness and following the crowd well until it clashes with our own personal beliefs. Then it's just too much to handle. Lil Nas X is an individual entitled to do as he pleases, and as long as he isn't hurting anyone doing it, then avert your eyes and pray for the salvation of his soul. My recommendation is search out why you are conflicted, but really understand why, and challenge yourself and your perception. In the end, you can only account for yourself and your actions and your thoughts. Otherwise, live and let live. Agreeable Ranger adds, I'm conflicted because I don't want satanic stuff to go mainstream. It's not cool, and it's not good for the children. It's just weird that I keep reading comparisons between God and Satan. By all means, burn in hell if you want, but don't take words out of context from the Bible. Just FYI, God is love. Oh, and here, let me see if I have this original post still up here. Yeah, here we go. So there was a great reply to that. A really, really, really great reply. Here we go. Okay, so here's the comment. I'm conflicted because I don't want satanic stuff to go mainstream. It's not cool and it's not good for the children. It's just weird that I keep reading comparisons between God and Satan. By all means, burn in hell if you want, but don't take words out of context from the Bible. Alright, so here's some Bible quotes from Leviticus 25:46 to 25:44 to 25:46. Your male and female slaves are to come from the nations around you. From them you may buy slaves. You may also buy some of the temporary residents living among you and members of their clans born in your country, and they will become your property. You can bequeath them to your children as inherited property, and you can make them slaves for life, but you must not rule over your fellow Israelites ruthlessly. Oh, so you can actually rule over your fellow Israelites, you just can't do it ruthlessly. Okay, so now the original commenter added, but why don't you mention the verse that condemns slavery? And then the dude who quoted was like, there's no verse that condemns slavery. And then the guy who supports the religion is like, oh, it's Exodus 21:16. So the arguer comes up and says, okay, Exodus 21:16. Anybody who kidnaps somebody is to be put to death, whether the victim has been sold or is still in the kidnapper's possession. And they point out, quite realistically, that this is talking about kidnapping and not slavery. And then he says, in fact, I think Exodus is a horrible example for you to even bring up, because right after the verse you quoted, it continues, anyone who beats their male or female slave with a rod must be punished if the slave dies as a direct result. But they are not able to be punished if the slave recovers after a day or two, since the slave is their property, aka directions on how to beat your slave. Like, this is so funny because the person who's saying God is love, don't take the Bible out of context. It's like, if you read the Bible, you have to take it really far out of context in order to take the message, God is love and loving. It's like, yeah, there are little moments where there are loving moments and loving things, but overall, the Bible is a book that includes a lot of violence, a lot of horrible things, a lot of hatred, and a lot of killing. That's not love. None of those things are love. And if you point to the Bible, you need to be open to the fact that literally anybody can interpret the Bible any way they want, taking direct quotes out of it, and there are direct quotes in the Bible that justify killing people. That doesn't mean you should go out and kill people. I'd like to believe it doesn't mean that God wants you to go kill people. Like, me personally, I don't think God's that bad. I think there's just this fucking book that was written like 3,000 years ago and controlled by the wealthy that, like, God's like, why the fuck do you guys look at that dumb book all the time? Just treat each other well, Jesus Christ. God must be sad. I would be sad if I was God. Anyway, I just wanted to point all that out because that was fun. Alright, moving on. Jack Not Name adds, when he has been messaged, the singer, NAHZ X, has been messaged all of his life that he's going to burn in hell for being gay, what would you expect? This is not an abandonment of God. This is about embracing who he is, in spite of all the assholes who taught him that he's wrong. All the assholes who are taught to love everybody like they love themselves, but have no problem spewing hate towards anybody who isn't like them. Kick to Sneak adds, that video is a masterpiece, and I love it so much. There's more inappropriate videos out there for songs played everywhere, and the only reason people are offended by this is because he's gay. Well, that's not entirely true. It's one of the reasons, but like the satanic thing is more of a flag. It's more of a like, if you want to ruffle religious people's feathers, then you just have to show satanic imagery because of satanic panic and all the history in the United States. Whereas like being gay ruffles people's feathers in a more subtle way. So I don't agree that it's not just because he's gay. It's because he's choosing to do this publicity stunt, and he's also gay. And he's pointing out that these people are fucked up bigots for saying that he's gonna go burn in hell. So he's like, you know what? Fuck your imagery. I'm gonna make fun of you a tiny bit in this moment in a way that doesn't affect your livelihood at all in any way or prevent you from loving the people you love. Meanwhile, this individual dealt with those issues, being judged and not being able to love the people he loves, and all of the insecurity and the facts that when he's in love with somebody, they are ashamed of themselves for being gay, ashamed of him, ashamed of all that fucking shit. You can't blame him. Like, come on. People are so dumb. Duty97 adds, the shoes thing is really creepy because he literally put human blood in the shoes he's selling. Putting a verse on the Bible on top of that on the shoes is incredibly insulting to Christians. As for satanic depictions in general in clips, well, this is the 21st century, and he's not the only one promoting or normalizing occult stuff, so it's not that shocking. He's not fucking normalizing it. He's just responding to Christians telling him he's gonna burn in hell his whole life, and so he made a parody of burning in hell. Like, that's not him saying, hey, go worship the devil and cult. He doesn't have anything about actual Satanism and like what it's like to do that. That has literally nothing to do with it. It's like, people are so dumb. So dumb. Agreeable Ranger, the original poster, adds, I am a fan of Lil Nas X, but I am a hardcore spiritual person, and I low-key feel like it's a disservice to God acting as if the Satan shoes and lap dance Satan video did not cross a line. I'm all for art expression. I get it. Artists like to push buttons, but this particular shoe thing makes me cringe. Maybe it sounds silly, but if I wore a pair of Satan shoes, I would feel like I'm allowing a demonic seal on my body. No, I'm not a Republican, crazy evangelical, Trumpy, homophobic person, or goody two-shoes. Why, Lil Nas X, why? Same thing with Billie Eilish. I love her songs, but when I started to notice that she likes to photograph with the cross facing down, I was like, okay, I'm out. I respect people's religion, but I would prefer not to be affiliated with demonic stuff. It's scary. Well, too bad. I mean, if you are religious, if you believe in God or the Bible, then like you're affiliated with demonic stuff. There's literally demons in your holy book. So, like, what? It's not okay because he doesn't even talk about Satanism. It's not promoting Satanism. He literally just, the devil's there, and he kills the devil. Like in the end of the video, he literally snaps the devil's neck. Isn't he doing what you want? Like, come on. Unlucky Paradox adds, it's all a dirty marketing ploy to cause outrage via parents learning that their 5-year-old is having issues comprehending why the guy from Sesame Street is giving a lap dance to a demon. He just put a goddamn book for toddlers out before doing this. It's clear Columbia has no qualms using him to push content that shouldn't be seen by kids onto kids for the pure purpose of making money on outrage. The satanic panic shit is extremely tired and corny, and was in the 80s. We're just watching grifters lose their mind over that trite nonsense. But there should be some serious concerns about Columbia Records' marketing strategies, and their willingness to abuse the power that a public persona can have. Here's a link to an interview from earlier this year, where he talks about knowing he's marketing himself to elementary school kids, written less than 3 months ago. It's true. This artist does, he markets himself to, like, children. I don't get what your point is, honestly, though. I mean, like, if your kid is watching a 18 plus rated video about gay sex, I mean, like, what are you expecting? I mean, like, really? Like, if you really are gonna bitch and moan about it, then you shouldn't let your kid get a hold of that. There's tons of stuff in the internet that's not good for kids at age 5 to read. Just because this human has shown up on Sesame Street doesn't mean that he's cursed to a 5-year-old approved life for the rest of his life in everything he does. I mean, he's the rapper. He makes, like, music videos. What do you expect? Like, really? Come on. All right, everybody. That's it for now. If you like this kind of content, please do one of the 4 following. Watch another one of our videos, comment below, subscribe to this channel, or like this video. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Ciao!